I'm Mike,
And I'm Amber. Welcome to the Covenant Chronicles,
where we tell you the truth about relationships,
giving you the tools to build the foundation you always needed. Welcome back to the Covenant Chronicles.
Hello.
Howdy.
Don't start.
Bonjour.
I guess.
Hola.
Just throw out every different way to say hi or hello that you can.
Chihuahua.
Oh, my Lanza. I quit. I'm going home.
Yeah. So we're recording at 11:41 at night, and it is still perfectly sunny outside here in Alaska.
Yeah. It's probably like the equivalent, I would say, for most people of like, sun's up about 8 o'clock. This is probably the equivalent of light you would have about 7 o'clock.
Yeah. You mean if the sun goes down at 8?
No, I said what I said. Like in the morning when the sun rises, like if you're in a place that like sun is fully up in the sky by say 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
This is like the equivalent of light you would have at 7 a.m.
Yeah. Is
what we're currently at almost midnight. Cause you know, it's summertime in Alaska and it doesn't ever really get dark in summertime in Alaska. Yeah. It also, for those of you that don't know, it actually gets a little warm here. It's not, you know, Arizona warm. But it did get like 80 degrees today.
Okay, granted, that was the one time so far that it's been warm this summer. Like half of the summer, it's been like 40s.
Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure. This summer has been crazy weather because we, like, no joke, a week ago it was like 50 degrees.
Yeah. It was cold last week. It was cold like 4 days ago. I woke up in the middle of the night freezing.
I think it's funny because I feel that most people think of Alaska as being like cold igloos all the time. And it's like, no, we just get ridiculous temperature swings. Like people are like, oh man, it gets so hot where I live. And it's like, yeah, 100 degrees, 110, 120 is pretty hot. Like, I'm not going to lie, but we legit see over 80 and then we'll see negatives in the wintertime. So
yeah, it's kind of crazy. Also, like 80 here feels like 100 other places because the sun is closer. It's a thing.
Oh yeah, yeah. The what do they call that? The index. The I don't know. I'm sure someone that's listening to this will be like, "You're an idiot. It's called this." Anyways,
yeah.
We totally went off in left field about the weather. How, you know, I mean, that's not even the worst part because there's places like in central Alaska that have 140, 150 degree swings between the heart of winter and heart of summer.
Yeah, for sure. Fairbanks is no bueno.
Yeah. Enough about the weather. We don't get paid for that. We'd probably get paid a lot more if we did to be wrong all the time.
Just to talk about the weather on a podcast all the time.
For sure. Anyways.
And here we are.
So we have a fun topic today. And, you know, we often use our own lives as things to talk about in the podcast and ways to help others, right? Just stuff that we've been through, stuff that we're going through, stuff that we navigated, stuff that we overcame, all of it. And what's really cool is we are had some recent events happen, and essentially with that, our lives were like shaken up, right? Mm-hmm. Physically, you know, emotionally, mentally, all the stuff. And we are basically had a whole plan laid out for the next 6 months of our lives. Well, this would be starting probably 2 months ago. Actually, really, I mean, we've talked about, you know, setting results and the way you think, and we have a pretty clear vision of the next 10 years of our lives, right? Or where that end goal will be in 10 years. I won't say like how we're going to walk because we don't know, and only God knows, you know, the path that you're going to walk and the rocks you're going to stumble on and all that. But, we had decided and made some decisions for us to make those things happen in 10 years. Um, we really needed to make some drastic shifts now, to get us closer to that, potentially faster, but also, to become the people, become the unit, become the family that we need to really get where we want to go.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess we can talk about it because the more we put it out there, the more it becomes part of who we are, right? We talk
Mhm.
about that all the time with the conversations. And so the goal is, 10 years from now is property on a river with cabins built and basically being able to do couples retreats and men's retreats and women's retreats, and really go take people out and use everything that we know, everything that we learn, everything, along the way that we know from neuroscience and NLP and the programming of minds combined with, our faith, the Bible, and everything that we do in relationships and be able to really just like eh, almost like a crane machine, pick people up and just move them right in their lives to this place that, like we talked about before, they've always had within them, but really like just that drastic of a shift to go from point A to point B, right?
Yeah.
And so with that, we had, made decisions in our lives and really get dialed in and hyper focused on some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Well, to do that, we essentially made decisions and said, okay, this is what we're going to do the next month or two. This is what we're going to do the next 3 months, the next 6 months, the next year and a half, the next 2 years. And basically by a year and a half, 2 years down the road, we were going to have all of these results accomplished. Well, to make the drastic changes in our lives to accomplish those, we made certain decisions to drastically move the needle that direction. Well, the problem is the one string in all of this that we had relied on, um, basically got pulled,
Mhm.
right? And so it drastically changed how the next couple of months, 3 months, 6 months of our lives are going to look, and potentially even a year, the next year is going to look. And not necessarily bad, right? I mean, many people may consider it bad when, the life shifts, right? And you have these drastic shifts. And we don't mean like, hey, um, just simply, uh, maybe you thought you were getting a promotion and now you're not kind of thing. We're talking like, um, living situation, revenue streams, you name it, like all shifted all at once, right?
Yeah.
And so that and I would say people in general deal with major things in their lives, right? This is un, not uncommon. It's not something that is like extremely rare, right? I think a lot of people can relate to, hey, you really thought maybe the next 3 months, 6 months, year, 2 years of your life was going to go a certain way. And all of a sudden you woke up one day and it veered hard left,
Yeah.
right? And I think that like is so many people deal with that in their lives as just human beings, right? It could be health stuff. It could be losing a job. It could be, losing a house, right? Like we know somebody that 6 months ago had a house fire and lost their house and ended up having to live at their business because they didn't have a house, right? And that's like these things can happen to people and we don't always plan for them, right?
Yeah.
But why are we talking about these life events on a relationship podcast? And we're talking about these things because how often do these major life shifts become such a place of division inside of a relationship?
Yeah, it's a super easy way for just connection to be cut.
Yeah, connection to be cut, the enemy to come in, right? Open that door, and he comes in and starts just playing on all of your insecurities, all your partner's insecurities. Um, the old identity. We talked previously about identifying. If you look at a sculpture, and as the person sculpting it, chips away these chunks of rubble, you end up with a pile of rubble, and you end up with sculpture, kind of like what God does with us, right? And these old identities in that pile of rubble, he's going to start tugging on those and trying to get us to recall those and identify with those.
Yeah.
And the enemy really goes to work in these moments. And the question is, how do you simply not do that, right? How do you not allow yourselves to be destroyed and a giant wedge to be driven between you and your partner, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your fiance, your husband, wife, whatever that status is? How do you keep that from happening?
Yeah.
Right. And I look at us, and it's funny because it took me a couple of days, because we're uh 4 days into this, like, string being pulled, veering hard left event. And it's so interesting to me that, like, it we did, like, the first day, it was like, oh man, okay, we got to get our heads wrapped around this, right? And though you look at how we navigated it, we never lashed out at each other. We never got upset with each other. We didn't get annoyed. We didn't any of that, right? Like, it was this acknowledgement of both of us kind of being like, hey, I know that you need um some time to just process, and just me to be present, right? And it was reciprocated on both sides. And it's so interesting to me that, it within 24 to 48 hours, it was like we were starting to shift back and basically kind of stepstone back to, like, our internal conversations being what they should be, us looking at everything in a positive manner and saying, okay, let's be excited about the change and what comes next, even if we don't 100% know what that looks like.
Yeah.
Right. And all of these things that are not normal societal reactions in these. And it was like, it, it wasn't this, oh man, look at how great we are. It was like, whoa, like, I was surprised at us and how we dealt with that, as opposed to, the person I was for sure 5 or 6 or 7 years ago, right? And I would even say a few years ago, right? Earlier in our relationship,
Hmm.
and how things would have affected us and taken a toll on us, and the drastic difference between that and what it is now. And I want to dissect that, some of where our heads were at, and just emotionally, and also what did we do differently now that we've never done before, or I wouldn't want to say never, but haven't done in the past, or in the past we weren't very good at it,
Yeah.
that we have through other means and other practices gotten good at.
Hmm. Well, I mean, I know you mentioned it. Um, I think it was Sunday night. Um, I I know, like, we both identified how we kind of handle these situations. And for me, like, I tend to get anxiety built up in my body, and then I feel like I need to, like, move or do something to, like, get rid of it.
Mhm.
Um, and so, for me in moments like that, I'll, like, need to, like, take a walk or clean or go to the gym or, just do something where I'm, like, physically moving to, like, release all of that. And for you, you typically want to, like, isolate and kind of just, like, almost not, like, shut down, but kind of shut down to just, like, process and, like, release, right?
Yeah.
Um, but, like, Sunday night, I kind of noticed you were doing that, but you were also kind of, like, just wanting to shut me out also. And so, I came into the bedroom and I was like, "You have 2 options. There's 2 things that you can choose." I was like, "We can go on a walk. I don't care that it's 10:30 at night. Like, we're gonna go walk around the neighborhood and we're gonna talk, or we can have sex. Like, it's one of the 2, pick which one you're gonna do."
Yeah.
And you were like, "No." I was like, "Well, you only have 2 choices, so you better pick one of them." And it's funny because it did take, like, a solid 5 minutes, and finally you were like, "Fine, we can go for a walk." Um, and so we did. Like, we just got up and we went for a walk around the neighborhood. But in doing that, like, even though you kind of wanted to pull back into old tendencies of just, like, shutting down and whatever, you realized, like, and we both realized, like, we really needed to communicate about what we were feeling and just, um, even more so than just that singular event, like, there'd been stuff that had been building up in both of us that we hadn't talked to each other about, right? And it was a time, like, I think it was literally like a 45-minute walk, and we talked the entire time and just, like, got out feelings and thoughts and all of the things during that walk, um, that we both didn't necessarily realize, like, oh, we really needed to, like, actually talk about this and release it.
Mhm.
And I think both of us are still working on, like, oh, it's safe to do that. It's okay to do that. Like, we know that. And most of the time, I think we're really good at it. But I still think that there's times that we forget, like, oh, it's okay to talk to you. Like, you're not going to freak out if I tell you these things.
Mhm.
Um, so, anyways, that was our, like, really way to decompress from it. We came home, we took a shower, and still kind of talked some more about some things. Then we went to bed and we had sex. And we both felt better.
Yeah.
Like, maybe not 100% better, but I think we both felt better taking the time to decompress. But also, we were using the time to actually build connection in the middle of an event that should have and could have easily wrecked connection.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that so, if we go back to, like, what you were saying, identifying that, right? And here's where I think that in the past, well, no, let me back up. In the past where we have struggled and where most people struggle with situations like this are we get trapped in our own emotions,
Mhm.
right? And our own prison. And we forget that things that we go through when we are with somebody, especially when we're married, affect both of us,
Yeah.
right? And that doesn't mean that one of your emotions is more important than the other, right?
Yeah.
It's going to affect both of you in different ways. And depending on what the scenario is, it could, affect one of you more so than the other. One of you might have an easier time processing things, whatever it may be. But in these scenarios in life and in dealing with situations and navigating tough and difficult situations with our partner, what we tend to do is fall into these emotion traps. And think of it like a bear trap, right? Where you step on it and it grabs a hold of you.
Mm-hmm.
And what ends up happening is you get stuck in that. And now you're spending so much time trying to get the trap off your leg because it hurts and the pain that you don't want anything else to come near you,
Yeah.
right? Nobody, nothing like any of that. And this may not be that way physically, right? Like for me, like you said, I tend to isolate when I'm processing stuff. It's my way of sorting through things. I've gotten a lot better about it, but it is like historically where I go. Um, I, a lot of times I think that you're the opposite in the sense of like you want that physical presence, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean that you're necessarily there and open emotionally, right?
Yeah.
And so what happens though is no matter how your processing works, no matter what that procedure is for you to process through something big in your life, it's still the same concept of the bear trap. You step in it, now you're trying to get it off your leg, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what ends up happening is we get so hyper focused on that we can't even see anything else around us, right? We can't see the forest. We can't see anything. We can't see maybe there's a person right there trying to help us, right? And so it creates this cycle. And what will tend to happen, right? And I'm sure many people can relate to this. Okay, walk you through a scenario. Something big happens in your life, whatever it is. Job loss, medical issues, something with a child, whatever it is, right? And y- this occurs, and you go step on the emotional bear trap. Now it's latched onto you. And the other person approaches saying, "Hey, let me help you." And you snap at them. You didn't even hear what they said, right?
Yeah.
And then they're now stepping on another bear trap themselves. And they get stuck in that same situation of trying to fight and trying to now they're upset because, well, they just wanted to help.
Yeah.
And now they take that personal, right?
Mm-hmm.
And both of you end up putting these like horse blinders on almost, if you will. And you're just so hyper focused on this bear trap that you can't see anything else around you.
Yeah.
And then you both end up on this hamster wheel running in a circle, right? When the reality is if you take a step back, you can see, right? And just like I even came out and I told you, like my reaction and this is the thing, right? Is I think so many people think that there's something wrong with them because they have human reactions.
Mm-hmm.
Or they still may, right? They still may have some type of instant feeling. And because they have an instant feeling, they are a horrible person in their own mind, right? And it's just a story that they tell themselves. And I say this because if you go back to like our situation, like you said, right? You gave me crap. You're like, here's the choice. go do this together or we're going to do this together. Right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. Took a few minutes. Right. Now, here's the thing. That's not necessarily the way that I process things. Right.
Yeah.
But it is how you process things.
Mhm.
And so for you, it was important. And so in this, my initial reaction, right, is leave me alone. I want to just deal with this, right?
Yeah.
But shifting that and identifying, okay, let me take a step back. My wife cares about us. She is asking for something that's important to her. She's going through this just like I am. And is either of the options she gave me actually detrimental and holding me back? Or would it, even though it's not my preferred method necessarily, would it help with connection between us and help further my processing? Well, yeah, it probably would. Right.
Mhm.
So am I being resistant because of old patterns? Or am I being resistant because there's actually something wrong here? Right.
Yeah.
Probably the first one.
Yeah.
Right. And so identifying that, and that's where I think it gets missed, right? That's where in the past we have operated in a different place, right? We operate from the bear trap of emotions, and it gets stuck on our leg and we get trapped and we just keep going in a circle trying to get the trap off of
Mm.
us, right? Because maybe it's mental or emotional pain or, just overload, maybe you're feeling overwhelmed, maybe whatever it is,
Yeah.
right? But the reality is like when you look at all these things, you are going to make a choice to use everything. And like we've said over and over, every interaction with another person is an opportunity for disconnection or connection, right?
Yeah.
Connection or disconnection. Choice is yours. And with these major life experiences, it is the same exact scenario, right?
Mhm.
You're going to make a choice to build connection, build confidence in the relationship, build a better foundation, and build trust with your partner that you guys are there for each other. You're in this relationship, you're in this marriage, you're in this covenant for a reason,
Yeah.
and that it's because this is where you belong. Or you're going to create an opportunity for disconnection, tear down some of the foundation that may be there, build distrust, right?
Yeah.
And go the opposite direction. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't ever reverse it if you so choose. But the thing is you can do it so much and so many times that it does lead to the destruction of your relationship.
Yeah.
Also, how much do you want to go through before you finally say enough is enough? I want to build something here with my partner, right? And the truth is that when it comes down to it, what is important to you, right? And you have to start thinking about what's actually important to you in your life, in your faith, in your relationship, right?
Yeah.
And if you're saying, hey, my partner is important to me, my spouse is important to me, this relationship is important to me, then you can't operate as if it's just you,
Yeah.
which is exactly what we're doing in those moments. We create disconnection because we act as if it's just us. And that's
Yeah.
just simply not the case.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's the point you were trying to make is like on our walk, you were like, at first I was kind of annoyed, but, like, that's one of the things that I really love about our relationship is you try to keep us connected.
Mhm.
And, like, that was, you know, I knew that we needed something to, like, come together. Yes, I also, like I said, process things by moving my body and, like, getting it out, right?
Mhm.
So, like, the 2 options that I gave were kind of physical moving my body options, but they were also things that I knew would bring connection between us so that we weren't, like, pulling apart from each other during that time.
Mhm.
And I think that's important to, like, figure out inside of your relationship. Like, if you know that your spouse is someone who tends to isolate and pull away or, needs to move their body or, you know, I don't know what some other things like needs to go on a drive. I don't know.
Mhm.
Like there's lots of things that your partner could need whenever they're trying to process stuff, but like knowing and understanding that will make it easier in trying to connect with them during those moments as well. Also to say though, like if you know that you know, tend to isolate or want to be by yourself or whatever, and your partner is trying to like engage with you, there is that level of having to be like, hey, like, is this is this hurting me, like you said? Or are they just trying to connect with me in this moment?
Well, and it's to put it bluntly, I mean, it's stop being selfish, right?
Yeah.
Like you want to know how to deal with major life events with your partner. It's stop being selfish. And it's like, well, okay, that's so simple. What does that look like? How does that, you know, don't worry, I'm going to give it to you because that's one thing that's important to us is not just telling you, right? You can Google search how to,
Yeah.
deal with stuff and still have no idea of how to execute it. But the biggest thing is changing the conversation,
Yeah.
right? What are you telling yourself? What programming are you oh geez, I don't know what that was. What programming are you running and what are you telling yourself?
Yeah.
Stop telling yourself I'm overwhelmed. I don't know how to deal with this. I don't know what we're going to do. I. We have more on our plate right now than we'd like, but we will figure it out.
Yeah.
We are dealing with this together, right? This will take both of us coming together.
Hmm.
We have got this, right? And it sounds like stupid little like affirmation type stuff, but the reality is it's true,
Yeah.
right? Like stop saying I and start saying we and us
Yeah.
because it is. And when you start having that different conversation, we, us, together,
Yeah.
those types of terms, you start seeing the situation differently. You start seeing you and your spouse as a unit. Doesn't mean that you both don't have different roles,
Hmm.
right? Because you do.
Yeah.
But the reality is that when you change that verbiage, you and I, to we and us, it changes things.
Yeah.
It changes your view. It changes the lens that you're looking through. And then when it has that, right? Like,
Yeah.
hey, we need to go do this or this.
Yeah.
I don't really want to, right?
Hmm.
See,
The
you
I.
see what right, right. You look at that, like,
Yeah.
look at what you told me. Like, and this is the funny part is people, like, if I tell you, hey, just stop using we and I, oh, well, how does, look at the conversation. hey, you have two options. We're going to do this or we're going to do this, right? The
Yeah.
we. I don't want to. Okay. That's the I.
Yeah.
So we remove that. Okay. We are going to go do this, right? It changes the dynamic and it's that simple, right?
Mhm.
Now, does that mean, oh, well, I just went through some crazy stuff in my life. I, I've operated from this selfish place through our entire relationship. I'm just going to say we this one time and it changes everything. No, it's not a light switch,
Yeah.
right? But this is the practice that we've talked about over and over and over. If you go back through our podcasts, it is regularly that we are hounding and beating the dead horse of the internal conversation and how you're talking to yourself, how
Mhm.
you're talking to your spouse, how you're talking about your spouse, how you're talking about yourself, whether that's internally or externally.
Yeah.
Words are important. The things that you say, right?
Yeah.
This There's roughly 330,000 words in the English language, give or take. Your brain recognizes 3,300.
Yeah.
Okay. So in those 3,300, roughly, if you are saying certain ones over and over and over, what do you think that does to your brain? Right?
Yeah.
All the others don't matter. So if you're saying things that don't mean anything to you, they're not going to mean anything. Right. And so you have to be very selective on what you say and how you say it. And when you talk about overcoming these things in your life as a unit and together with your spouse and bringing that connection, it's the language that you're using, the words that you're saying, both externally and internally. It's the tone that you're using, the body language that you're using,
Mhm.
right? Those are the things that are going to shift not only your view and your lens, but your ability to overcome those things.
Right. Yeah. I think just really recognizing that and then making the effort to, like, actually choose connection during those times is really the massively important part of what we're trying to get across. Because if you want a relationship to fail, like, just keep doing what you're doing, right? Like, keep being singular and, like, I about everything, or really reach out and try something different. Oh, this is my spouse. This is my husband. Like, this is the person that I'm doing life with. I want them to be there. I want them to help me with emotions and to process things, but I'm afraid to reach out. Or you could be like, I'm just going to reach out. I'm going to do this. And, you know, the more you do it, the more it becomes just habit. And that's how you change your patterns,
Mhm.
right? I mean,
Well,
I'd rather, you know, actually try and, like, include you in my world, in my emotions, in the things that are going on than to, you know, just stay in my own little bubble and contain everything to myself, because that's where anxiety and depression and disorder come from, is when you try to contain everything inside your own self.
mhm. Well, and the reality is, right, is we tell ourselves these things. Well, because you're going to get the pushback, right? Well, my spouse doesn't listen to me. How many times have you told yourself that? Have
Yeah.
they never ever listened to you one time in your entire history of your relationship?
Mhm.
Or was it something that maybe you guys got to a bad place and you started telling yourself that,
Yeah.
right? My favorite one is working with clients and they go, I'm not consistent. Okay, well, give me an example. Oh, I want to get up at 5 o'clock every morning because some guru online told them that they have to get up at 5 o'clock to be successful in their life, right?
Hmm.
Okay, so why are you not consistent? Well, I always hit snooze 2 or 3 times and I can't ever seem to consistently get up at 5. Okay, so you hit snooze every morning? Yeah, every morning. So you consistently hit snooze. Well, yeah. So you're consistent. And then you see this light bulb go off, right? And it's like, I never thought about that, right? We just need to tweak what you're consistent at, right?
Yeah.
We need to tweak that conversation you're telling yourself just a little bit. But
Yeah.
there's the evidence that you're consistent, right?
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with the relationship, right? And this isn't saying that, hey, there probably is a level in which your partner needs to work on whatever you are saying, right? Oh, they don't listen to me. They probably do need to work on being a better listener.
Hmm.
But you telling them that they don't listen is not going to fix that
No.
ever. Like, not once ever has that ever created sustainable change inside of a relationship,
Yeah.
right? You might get, like, when there's an extreme and one of the partners is choosing to leave or get a divorce or whatever, where the other partner suddenly starts trying to check off the boxes that they heard their partner say a bunch of times. But that's not sustainable, and they're grasping at straws and they're floundering, right?
Yeah.
The reality is what do you do on your part? You start telling yourself something different,
Yeah.
right? Oh, my partner cares about what I have to say. My partner hears me,
Yeah.
right? Better yet, do you care what your partner says? Do you listen to them?
Yeah.
Okay, well, if you feel that you listen to them and you care about what they say, then start saying we. We listen to each other. We care about what we say, right? You're included in that and you start shaping how you view your partner. But the truth is that's how you navigate these things, right? It's when our internal conversations shifted. Also, I mean, let's not leave out the fact that faith has been a huge part of this, right?
Yeah.
Because it really has. And you really need to have your faith anchored at the center of your relationship.
Yeah.
The next step is what you're telling yourself, though, because as you continue to change what you tell yourself, what you say internally and externally, you're going to create different results and different outcomes in your life, right? That will drastically shape the results inside of your relationship and the path that you're walking on.
Yeah.
And that's the reality is life is going to have ups and downs, right?
Yeah.
But the one thing that you will hear consistently across the board is what the difference between success and failure when life throws curveballs at you is your ability to deal with them, right?
Yeah.
And even saying that is like, I don't know if I should say that life throws curveballs at you, right? Because if you're continuing to tell yourself that, guess what you're going to get,
Yeah.
right? No, the reality is, yeah, there's probably going to be stuff that speed bumps and curveballs and all the stuff, right? But
Yeah.
if you're like, man, I crush it, do this, I do that, right? We do these things together, uh, we make such a great team. The mountains that we climb together and the success that we create together is just incredible, right? And those are the conversations drastically changes. And even when stuff comes your way, it's not going to feel like it's as big. It's not going to feel like it, you know, just ends your world because you're like, oh no, we can do this.
Yeah.
We've got
Sure.
this.
100%. Well, in saying that, we want to kind of make it a thing to start ending our podcast with kind of a call to action.
2 call to actions.
Yeah, which we kind of usually always do anyways, but these are going to be slightly different. So, if you listen to this, really, if you've listened to any of our podcasts and they, resonate with you in some way, we are going to start linking a link in the bio information stuff for each podcast. With a link to our calendar so that you can book, I think they're like 15,
30 minutes.
30 minute,
Yeah.
just kind of like initial consult calls with us.
Mhm.
It could just be if you're wanting just, to talk to a male, it could be just me. If you're just wanting to talk to a female, or
Got that
there's
backwards.
us.
Yeah. That. No, I heard it backwards in my head. My bad. Continue.
Anyways, so you have the option to do, whatever you feel like you're needing at the moment. But we would really suggest that, if you're feeling like this resonates with you and that you would like to take the step to, further your relationship with yourself, but also with your partner, jump on a call with us. They're free 30-minute calls. And, we can just talk to you and have conversations about, what you've listened to and how you're wanting to move forward and just help you through that.
Yeah. Yeah, the link will be in the description for that. You can also go to thecovenantchronicles.com and just scroll to the bottom of the page. The calendar is there as well. That being said, I highly encourage you to do that. And while you're at it, share this podcast. Go, share it to a few people that you know that you care about and are like, man, I really heard something in this, and this part really resonated with me. Just send it to whoever and be like, you need to listen to this.
Yeah.
I'm telling you to listen to this. Find the inner confidence and tell them to listen to it.
Yeah. Well, go do that. And we will talk to you again soon.
Yep. On the next podcast.
On the next podcast.
Bye, guys.
Bye.